everybody, it's Bobbi-Jo and welcome to my home. I'm coming to you from the Maritimes of Canada, and I'm coming to you with something a little bit different today. I'm just going to be showing you a technique that you may like to get into, and I'm hoping that I do it justice for sure. Anyways, if you want to make something like this, or this, or this, or this, you definitely want to stick around. So what I want to show you first is some similar things that are on, like, paper that is on the market, where it's not my paper, it's them just doing backgrounds, and this one. And I feel that these hold up against the ones that I'm going to show you. So this one, this one, or these, or these even. And what this is tissue bleeding. And my mother got me just one thing for Christmas, and I think I'm hooked for sure. I have been tissue bleeding for, I just wanted to get to know it well before I brought it to you guys. But yeah, you can do all of this with these tissue bleeding technique. So I'm just going to get into the basics today. Now, I don't know how watercolor paper works with it. You can see the bleeding really well in this one, as well as in this one. I'm using 110-pound cardstock. They're 8.5 by 11, and I get them from Michael's, and just the white. And I've been just taking a spray bottle, and I should have had that out for you. And I'm taking a spray bottle and being able to spray it. As you can see, I don't think it's going too bad with that, for sure. So this is what I'm going to be using for now. I'm going to try a test run of the watercolor paper at some point, but for now I will use this one. Now, there's two bleeding tissue companies that I have. So the first one is the one that my mother got me for Christmas. It's called Spectra. And I want it noted that they have a sustainable forest initiative on their packaging. This one was Spectra. It was 20 by 30, and it was a 24 count. And then the other ones I have are Hygloss, and they're 12 by 18 for 50 count. Now, they're both done in the USA. However, I feel that the quality is significantly different. I will try to do a comparison between these two for you to open up. The Hygloss will work for me for as long as I have it. I can make do with it. But I'm definitely, when I start to add to my collection, it's going to be the Spectra that I purchase. I will put the 2 links to both down below from Amazon, so you can check them out. But I will definitely be going with the Spectra. Now, to give you an idea, I just will take comparables. So I've got a couple of dark colors here. I don't have the same blue as my mother gave me, but this is the blue that she provided me for the Spectra. And this is the other Hygloss. So I'm just going to take a couple of pieces of these just to show you the difference here. Might take just a smaller, yeah, I'll take a smaller one here for this. All right, so what I've been doing is I've been spraying slightly, and then I've been putting them on and spraying again. I think I'll cut them down a little bit more. So you will, I usually wear gloves because they are quite a bit of dye on them. However, I want to give you guys an idea of what you can do if you don't want to use gloves. So I'm just going to spray these down. And you're just going to watch for a little bit here. And you'll start to see the bleeding come in from this one. This is basically kind of a watercolor effect that's coming in. So they're both starting to come out. So if I take this one off, you'll see it's already starting to dye underneath. This one is that's all it's dyeing, where this one is dyeing more consistently. Now, you don't want it to be perfect. That's not the name of the game. But at least for me, I want to have it at least a solid color or close to a solid color. Okay, so we open this one back up and you've got your solids. Oh, this one must not have been sprayed well enough. And then this one is still quite white all over it. So I'm looking for this type. Not that. So what I've been doing with it is I've been flipping it over. And that usually helps with the color, as you can see. And that's the color there. So to me, it's a big difference. Now I do, like, I'll pat this down and get it going. And it obviously does something, because I did with this stencil. This is from the Hygloss. you can get the color there. It just takes a little bit more work to get the color there. Where with the other one, this one, and keep in mind that I went around it with Distress ink, but the middle part is where this is more, this was a little bit better. This is definitely not that, obviously. But I found that I had, it might be the colors that I had or something like this, but I found it came out a little bit easier than this one. I wanted this one for sure. So as you can see, there's a difference still, right? So, why am I putting this all over my glass mat, you say? What on earth is she doing? So, I'm gonna just chuck these in my, sorry, my chair is so squeaky. I think it needs to be. All right, so either on the bottom, or you can do it on the top still, or you can take another piece of paper altogether. I will take another piece of paper altogether just so that it's not too messy. But what you can also do, you don't just have to put the tissue paper down. You can also swoosh it around. This is where my hands are going to start going. Now, not my best swoosh for sure, but you can see how you can get it done. Yeah, I messed that one up. So, let's do another one of that so I can, it might be just my colors that I'm sucking at. But definitely swoosh them around. All right. This is where my hands get gross. I can't say gross, but colorful. How about that? And this is where you start getting the watercolor effect. So I don't have a jelly plate of any sort. I shouldn't be using this because you can see my things on it, but I also do this one. Now I'm going to use this instead. So that you don't get those things from my tweezers. I don't have a jelly roll, but I have a feeling this is what it's like. And you're basically having, you can make it and you can keep playing with it. And you can see on the back of my, bookmarks. This is from the end result of me doing this, because I said, well, this came out so well that I didn't want to cover it with white. This one covered with white because it didn't come out as pretty on the back end. But you can do them and they match. And then this one, you're going to have, I wouldn't use this part for sure, but that watercolor effect is really nice. Okay, so what I would recommend, I don't want to waste that, so I'll put that someplace. What I would recommend is having alcohol someplace. Why? Because you can wipe it off. You can. However, if you have anything that stains, so say it dries. So this part is kind of dry. Okay. Ink. Watch how this is how it reacts with the alcohol. You can get the alcohol at any Dollarama store or any other dollar store. And it will take all of it, even if it's dry on your mat, it will pick it up. So we'll make sure this is really clean, so we can go on to our other stuff. So what I've been doing is I've been tearing. So I've been tearing off pieces. You don't have to do this, but I wanted the look of having it torn off. So that's what I've been doing. By the way, wear something as if you're painting. Whatever you, like, if you're wearing something old, make sure you're wearing something older, because it will stain anything. And I'm going to show you something in a bit here. And this one, let's do the blue here. Right, we are rolling. Oh, let's do that instead. Let's put that one. I want it ripped a little bit more. Some of them tear better than others. I'm going to chop some of that off. I keep all of my partials, and I'll show you what you can do with them here in a bit. All right. Alrighty. So, like I said, I'm going to wet this first. And we'll see what we get. You can play with this for hours. Your kids could play with this big time. I think they would love it. All right, let's see what we get. Yeah, your kids. Hey, if it would be great if you got them, to make something and then give it to their grandparents, for instance. As a card, you could make the card with them. You could do anything, or they could just play and you put it in a scrapbook, for instance. Now I'm going to see these ones. That's what happens. So I flip them over, because otherwise you will get nothing. All right. I'll help this here. And this, again, these are the Hygloss colors. I only have the one of the Spectra, but I am going to be building a stash for sure. Okay, so I think what we'll do is we'll put a little bit more blue on there. It's just too much white for me. I'm going to put some blue down here. Hence the reason I keep my scraps, so that I have them in times of needs. And that one there's. And with the Spectra, I find I don't have to use as much water. It's more of a bleeding effect, where this one is more of a watercolor type effect, I find. So but yes, I believe a jelly plate, I don't have one, but I believe it would be comparable to that, because you're making backgrounds. So there we go. Now, again, I'm just going to tap this here. Again, I'm going to just put my stuff out. What can we get with it? You never know. We might get something. We might. And I don't know whether, I only see people using paint for their jelly press. I would think that it makes the paper quite stiff. This one it doesn't. works very well. All right, so we got another background. And I'm going to show you something afterwards, but look at the difference. This was done professionally. This was done just us having fun. I think it's comparable. Let me know what you think. I really like your thoughts on it. So I'm going to hang these. Sometimes depending on whether or not I'm in a hurry or I don't want to wait or what have you, I will take my hair dryer that I have here that I never use for my hair. And I take it and blow dry them, and they blow dry just as well. But if I can hang them, I hang them. Just because it's easy. So I'm going to clean this up again. And you say, Bobbi-Jo, look at your fingers. I know, eh? Look at your fingers. All right. I'm going to show you a trick here. It's not perfect, but take some antibacterial. And it will start to loosen it. And it starts to come out. So I'm probably going to use a lot for this one, but I don't care. All right. Yeah. I think they're too far gone. But anyways, try it. I use it after I'm, because I don't want to get any of that on my following projects here. All right, so next thing, let me see. All right, so let's do some vintage, shall we? All right. Oh, just dropped my cap. There we are. Had to find my water. So yeah, I'm going to be putting the links so you have an idea of how much they typically cost. Like I said, I think the Spectra is a little bit higher. Not a huge amount, but a little bit. But to me, it's better quality. Just going to take a drink here. All right. So we got to flip it over because it's the Hygloss one and not the Spectra. I got to clean up my rags today. They are messy. All right. This one's being difficult. I'm going to put a little bit more on there. But you can definitely see the difference. But, oh, it's so fun. You're just kind of playing, and now I want I don't find the brown works very well. All right. Yeah, I definitely like the light blue. I like how I'm taking it off a little bit, because light blue and brown with vintage is my jam. So you could definitely play with that. I even got a little bit of the ink that I had on my thing on it. And that's what I'd be looking for just gonna get some of the, that's what I'd be looking for vintage, because I love light blue with the browns and beiges.